Warning chaos and grief, former President Donald Trump has asked the Supreme Court to swiftly and decisively end efforts to disqualify him from the presidential race. These movements both threaten to disenfranchise tens of millions of Americans, promising to unleash chaos in bed, he said. Trump made the claim in his main filing to the court in oral statements before February 8 regarding his earlier request that the court overturn a Colorado ruling that could have kept him out of the state and from his activities after the vote. In relation to the violence at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, Trump has not yet said whether he plans to participate in the arguments, which would see him face 3 of his appointees, along with another judge. He has been involved in civil lawsuits in New York State and federal court for alleged corporate fraud and defamation, despite running for president in Iowa and New Hampshire. Republican National Committee, GOP congressional leaders, attorneys general, secretaries of state, and other Republican officials across the country dropped their endorsements of Trump, the first for the nomination. Colorado's Supreme Court ruled last month that Trump was disqualified from seeking a second term, and therefore barred from running in the state's primaries, a Reconstruction-era provision of the 14th Amendment designed to prevent federal officials who aided the Confederacy of the return power restored in the federal government. That decision was put on hold pending the outcome of Trump's appeal, as was a similar decision in Maine. Other states weighed in and came to different conclusions than Colorado and Maine. California Secretary of State Shirley Weber, a Democrat, said she would include Trump on her state's primary ballot. The highest courts in both Michigan and Minnesota ruled that Trump would remain on the ballot in those states. Trump's arguments include that the sedition clause of the 14th Amendment does not apply to former presidents. And even when he did, Trump's lawyers wrote, he did not allow anything to be a rebellion, to fight to block the approval of the 2020 presidential election. He took a personal action to try to stop the certification, wrote the majority. And for many hours, he and his supporters managed to stop that process.